Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. A leading media researcher is waging war against the liberal news media, calling on them to tell the truth. Joining us is Brent Bozell, founder and president of the Media Research Center. He joins us now from outside Washington via Skype. Welcome to Newsmax TV, Brent.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you? It's my pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you. Brent, you recently announced your organization is spending more than $2 million on a campaign aimed at keeping the media in check. What does this campaign involve, and why do you believe that it is needed now more than ever?
Well, first, the why. The national news media are out of control. And we've been monitoring the press for going on a quarter of a century now, and I've never seen it as bad as we've seen it since 2008. Their love affair with Barack Obama has no ends. In 2008, it was this lavish bias by omission where they just refused to report anything that was going to be negative toward him. I was asked by Steve Forbes not too long ago if they could possibly get worse, to which my answer was yes, they could, and they were going to get worse because it was going to be not only the bias of omission towards him, but the bias of commission towards everyone else, and it's been scorched earth on his detractors. Look at their coverage of the Tea Party. There's no pretense of objectivity going on, and it's time that the American people said very resoundingly to the National Press Corps, start telling the truth. Stop it with this bias. Stop calling yourselves objective news reporters when there isn't a drop of objectivity in your blood, when all you are doing is promoting a left-wing agenda.
Well, let's talk about the media attacks, specifically on Christine O'Donnell, because they have been particularly harsh. The media does not treat Democratic candidates this way. Do you see a double standard?
Of course you do. You see it. You see it. Look at the coverage of movements. Look at the coverage of the activist movement on the left with MoveOn.org and whatnot as they emerged on the popular scene. That was called democracy. That was called people exercising their freedom of expression. That was called citizen activism. That was glorified by the national news media when they emerged. So when conservatives do the same thing, suddenly they are crypto-fascists, homophobes, and racists, all mixed up into one, where you'll have 300,000 people, 400,000 people in a rally, and yet they will find that one member of Lyndon LaRouche's organization who has nothing to do with the Tea Party, who's there just to be disruptive, and they'll put him on the air. Look at the coverage of the alleged N-words being chanted, and you hear from CBS and other networks national news stories about Tea Party people dropping the N-word when nothing was done. Andrew Breitbart made that famous $100,000 promise to anyone who could give them the evidence, and the evidence doesn't exist because they didn't do it, and yet it's reported day after day. So yeah, the double standard is horrific. Their coverage of Christine O'Donnell. Look at the nonstop negative attacks. You know that person, that conservative person that she allegedly had that tremendous falling out with. He's one of her donors.
Well, let's talk about Sarah Palin, because the press doesn't seem to like her very much either. Why the media obsession with Sarah Palin, and do you see the media letting up on her at all?
Let's compare two women. The story of two women, Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton. If there isn't an example of two more opposite coverage efforts, then I don't know what is the word opposite. When Hillary Clinton came on the scene, and to this day, Hillary Clinton was glorified. She was the enlightened woman. She was educated. She had a following. She was charismatic. She was attractive. Well, along comes a charismatic, attractive, smart woman, Sarah Palin, and she has scorched earth against her. She's disparaged at every opportunity. She comes out with a book, and there are no less than 12 researchers assigned by the AP to try to find any dirt they can. There's a reporter living next to her hometown, to her summertime house, just to try to find some dirt on her personal life. This is the kind of coverage conservatives get. Hillary Clinton has been seated next to the father on the Holy Throne by now.
Brent, the media seems intent on attacking Tea Party candidates who are trying to put a stop to the Obama agenda, but yet Tea Party-backed candidates continue doing well, and political analysts are projecting a tsunami of sorts for Republicans in the midterms. What is it about the Tea Party that the left-wing media doesn't like, and is the public buying what the liberal media is delivering?
You know, I've seen some reports in the press, Kathleen, of recent days where there's this head scratching going on, saying that with Obama's nonstop successes, they simply can't understand why his popularity goes down and down and down. Well, the reason is very simple, and it's not hard really to understand. Barack Obama was the candidate of hope and change. That's what the public saw in him that voted for him. Barack Obama never told you what he was going to do with his agenda. He didn't tell you about nationalizing banks and auto industries and all the other socialist nonsense he's done. Neither did the National Press Corps. So what's happened is the American people have woken up and they are outraged at the lurch towards socialism that he's taking us toward. And so what's the media reaction? Well, just turn on the people who are outraged. And so they're attacking them for being outraged. How dare they be outraged when so many of them feel that they were hoodwinked by the Barack Obama campaign?
Okay, so of the three nightly news networks, ABC's Diane Sawyer, NBC's Brian Williams, and CBS's Katie Couric, who, in your opinion, is the most biased and who is the best?
You know, it just depends what day of the week we're talking about. They really go up and down. These days, the most outrageous seem to be ABC, Terry Moran from the White House. Christiane Amanpour. I mean, this woman needs lithium badly. She is just out of control. I mean, who would have thunk that conservatives would be saying, give us back the good old days of George Stephanopoulos on the Sunday show? But she is just out of control with her Christian bashing that she's doing on ABC. So these days it's ABC, but next week it'll be CBS, and the week after that it'll be NBC. There really isn't one that jumps out more than the others.
Okay, a new Bloomberg poll out this week finds that more than 4 of 10 likely voters who say they once considered themselves President Obama's backers now are either less supportive or say they no longer support him at all. Do you see then the mainstream media changing what some call its cheerleading?
No. What will last longer? Their cheerleading or their opposition towards people who are criticizing him? Look, they are they're in for the long haul with this man. He is everything they wanted in a presidential candidate. Their enthusiasm for him hasn't lessened. If anything, where they're critical is that he hasn't moved to the left enough, say ending the war in Afghanistan. That's where they're critical, enacting cap and trade, the single-payer health care. Though if he's 90% liberal, that's not good enough for some people in the press corps. But no one in the press is going after him for being too liberal. Absolutely nobody's doing that.
Brent, what's the motive behind all of this?
They agree with him. Look, Kathleen, unless you've undergone a lobotomy, the human brain cell is set up where you have opinions, and reporters pretend that they're otherwise, that they don't have opinions, that they are objective. There's no such thing as objectivity. We all have our biases. I have a conservative bias, but if I'm going to be hired to report the news and strive for objectivity, then I must recognize my own biases and then strive for balance. That's how you strive for objectivity, is you incorporate balance into your coverage. They have no intention of doing any anything of this sort. Look at what they've done with some issues, whether it's gay rights or global warming, where on the news they are saying that there is no other opinion other than theirs. When you have the CBS Morning News saying that it is settled science that we have global warming, when there's no such thing. That's how adamant they are in their agenda. They have a very, very firm and increasingly militant left-wing agenda.
Okay, the latest Rolling Stone magazine has a wide-ranging interview with President Obama. He speaks about many issues, including Rupert Murdoch's Fox News, saying that Fox News promotes a point of view that is, quote, destructive to the growth of the U.S. Should the President of the United States be engaged in this kind of thing?
Short answer, no. I'll give you another answer. Never in the history of this republic, not even during Richard Nixon's most paranoid moments, has a president ever gone after a news source. Never has it happened until this president with Fox News. This is another one of those stories where you're starting to see it with some disturbing regularity, where the administration makes a mistake, and rather than acknowledge their mistake, they double down on it. They are so adamant about it. This attack on Fox News has backfired dramatically. Look at the results. Where quantity is concerned, not only is Fox #1, they're bigger than all their cable competitors combined today. where quality is concerned, for years and years and years, CNN called itself the most trusted name in news because according to the Pew surveys, that's what they were. Guess what? There's a new kid in town. There's a new winner in town. The new most trusted name in news since Obama started attacking them is Fox News. So this is royally backfired on the administration, and yet they're doubling down and they're going even harder on it.
As always, we appreciate all of your insights. If anyone wants to learn about your campaign and the Media Research Center, where should they go?
www.mrc.org, and we'll lead you to all our different sites. We have all sorts of different sites and different campaigns and bumper stickers and billboards and trucks and all sorts of fun that we're having.
All right, Brent Bozell, founder and president of the Media Research Center, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.